Hey guys, Michael Pizzullo here, psychotherapist in West Hollywood, coming to you from LA on a very gray day. And yes, I know the plant behind me is still not doing so good, so bear with me, I'm not giving up yet. I want to talk to you about probably the most pervasive issue I hear from gay men, which is the struggle to connect. And it's such a common theme. I hear it all the time. And when I say connect, I mean in terms of friendship, romance, really any kind of interpersonal thing. I feel like a lot of gay men struggle in this area. So I want to give a couple of reasons why I think that is that maybe you haven't heard before or haven't heard in this way. So I think just first and foremost, just to give context, a lot of gay folks feel like they grow up in an environment that's not accepting to them, or, they're in the closets, they're not fully themselves. And when they come out, there's this expectation that they're gonna enter into this, beaming, accepting LGBTQ community. And it's gonna be all love is love and acceptance and pride and so on and so forth. And I think a lot of people find themselves disappointed, and they feel like they were promised that they were gonna find their tribe right away and, be dancing at the club and having a great time and so on and so forth. And that doesn't often come true. And so then there can be this really big disappointment of, I struggled to connect when I was growing up in the straight community, quote unquote, when I was in the closet. And now that I'm out in the gay community, I'm still struggling to connect. So now what do I do? And that can create just such a crushing feeling of loneliness and so on and so forth. And so first of all, I think just to give context, I think most people can connect and make friends if they want to. There are some people that do exhibit kind of antisocial behavior. That's pretty rare, right? So I just want to offer that most people, I think if they want connection, it's available to them. But a couple of things that I think that get in the way. First one is, I think a lot of gay men compromise authenticity for acceptance, meaning that they feel like in order to fit in, they have to compromise who they are. So for example, they see guys on social media or at clubs or whatever who look a certain way, who party a certain way, who buy certain clothes or whatever. And they think in order to fit in and be accepted, I have to mimic their behavior and act like them. And the problem with that is that I think what it teaches people is to sacrifice who they are for connection. And I think what you're gonna find is that, sure, if you play into some of that kind of keeping up with the Joneses mentality and post the right pictures and go to the right places and whatever, you may have a lot of superficial friends, you may get a lot of clicks and likes and so on and so forth, but you're not gonna actually get real connection. And I think actually what you're gonna do is starve yourself from real connection, because you're gonna be moving toward a more inauthentic way of showing up in the world, which is gonna be disconnecting. And then when you encounter people who really do wanna get to know you and are interested in who you are, you may be presenting to them some sort of persona or, I don't know, something that's a little bit inauthentic that will just be kind of flat and won't go too far. So I would really think about, how much am I compromising my authenticity for acceptance? Granted, we're all human, we wanna fit in, we see what's popular, and we're human, we wanna be liked as well too. That's perfectly fine, we don't have to go too far. But don't confuse popularity for connection, because they're very different. And I think that you will find that if you let go of your authenticity, there's no way that you're gonna find meaningful connection in any relationship that you have. So that's the one thing I think is really pervasive. The other thing is I think that a lot of gay men actually look for rejection. I think that when they are given the choice, I think this is unconscious, but when they're given the choice of two friendships, one that's of someone who's very kind and supportive and nice, and another who's, maybe a little bitchy and flaky and maybe just kind of mean, they often go towards the latter. They go towards the bitchy, mean one. And I think there's probably a few different psychological reasons for this. One, I think, is that, we gravitate towards what's familiar. So if you're used to being mistreated, when someone treats you nicely, you're just kind of like, what are you doing? It feels like they're speaking Chinese and you don't know what to do with it. And so you drift towards what you're used to, which is maybe someone being a little bit more hostile or just kind of, I don't know, kind of bitchy or something like that. But I think the other one that's more common is this feeling that I can win these people over, that bitchy, mean guy, girl, whatever, I'm gonna get them to like me. I'm gonna I don't know, dress the right way, hang out with them, do the same things, and they're gonna go from being mean to being nice, or something along those lines. I think there's some sort of mental game that people get caught in playing with themselves that's very addictive and very seductive, and they just get kind of lost in it. And ultimately, I think it is completely self-defeating. I think if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. If someone is bitchy and mean to you, they're probably a bitchy, mean person. And expecting them to change is unrealistic. And honestly, why should they change? I mean, they have a consistent way of being in the world, and it's up to them if they're going to change. But why would they spontaneously just for you? It's not very likely. But so I think owning the fact that I may actually be setting myself up for disconnection by going toward the wrong people is a good thing, because that's where your power is. As a therapist, we always think about ways I can work on myself and things I can control. And there are lots of forces in life that are just unmovable, and we have to accept them and make it work. But when there's something internal that you actually can change, that's something you have power over. So I would think about two things: taking stock of your friendships and thinking about how much time do I invest in people who are nice to me, and how much time do I invest in people who are mean to me? And you'll be interested to see the difference. And then also think about how much do I prioritize acceptance over authenticity? And it doesn't have to be the, oh, I just say whatever I'm thinking and I'm authentic, even if it's mean. It doesn't have to go that far, but just thinking about, am I showing up to the world as my authentic self? And if I'm not, again, you may get invited to things or have a good time or get likes on Instagram or so on and so forth, but you're gonna get popularity and some sort of inclusion, but I wouldn't expect connection. So those are a couple ideas that came to mind. I hope those resonate. I think as gay men, we're learning how to connect with each other and with the world and friends and so on and so forth. And things have changed so much. So, we're kind of learning as we go, but I hope these ideas were useful. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm always curious to read those. And if you want to, talk to me more, you can check out my website and book a call with me. And hope this was useful, and hopefully we can learn to continue to improving our ways of connecting, because that's just a human experience that we all crave, no matter who we are. It's not about being gay, but different groups are taught to connect differently, and so we have different obstacles to overcome, but we're getting better, and we're learning as we go, and we're gonna get there. So anyway, thanks so much.